Well, I have to admit, this entire desert environment is extremely hard. So I suppose no matter what though, we'll try to figure something out if we decide able to explore the entire desert itself. Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only, Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I am back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Let's Play of Super Mario Bros. Wonder for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we have basically did manage to complete the majority of any other levels for the sake of the forms of Petal Isles, so just in case we can able to actually wrap things up everything, at least for now anyway, in terms of the forms of Petal Isles. So, but we still got a whole ways to go, because I mean after all, that we did somehow manage to able to collect some even more Wonder Seeds, so just in case we can able to actually not only try to able to access to World 5, but also with World 6 as well. But we'll save those and join at some point, possibly until next week or so, or perhaps even maybe once we finish this particular world first. So, speaking of which though, is that today for this video, is that we're going to be able to explore through the 4th world in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and that's what appears to be buddy forms of World 4, known as Sunbaked Desert. So, and relatively speaking though, is about the fact that we'll once again try to find some more Wonder Seeds, and something tells me no matter what though, every time whenever we go into like, you know, the beginning portion of some worlds, sometimes we always have to able to come across into Poplin's house, just in case if something else is going on. So because of that, just in case no matter what though, in addition to able to have a conversation with one of those Poplins, sometimes we have to able to actually get ourselves the Wonder Seed for a freebie, so something's worth noting for. So, anyways though, for those of you probably wondering, is that yes, today's date of course there is the 17th of January today, in some cases in 2024 today. So for those of you who lived in the UK, happy 10th anniversary of the game's release, at least in the UK version, of Mario Party Island Tour. And still, while looking back in that game, it was okay. I mean, it's not the best Mario Party game I've ever played. I mean, the only reason why that, for whatever reason, we attempted able to play that game a lot in the past, mainly because of the forms of the Street Pass feature, which as a result, just trying to able to completely, done with all the challenges on that particular game in mind. So, that might be something worth a while for able to actually know something like this. So, oh yeah, every once in a while though, as you can tell, that sometimes we have to able to walk around in the entire desert section, so just in case you can able to actually find some levels in a Mirage. So, no matter what though, first of all, let me just go ahead and buy yet another Wonder Seed. And by the way, the color for the Wonder Seed this time around though, specifically in this world, that's what appears to be the yellow Wonder Seed. So, makes sense, because obviously we're going to be exploring around in the desert, so everything else will be come to expect. So, and I believe something tells me we need to be able to activate those 3 switch tiles, because once you're done with that, you can able to actually access to some continuation portions of the forms of Sunbaked Desert. So, yeah, that's all there is to really think about it, which obviously leads us to yet another level, and I don't think... oh, there was a secret in there. Okay, I suppose I haven't exactly thought about it, but as a result, we immediately gone back into Shining Falls and able to find Captain Toad. So, exponentially speaking, I was about the fact I'm pretty sure that we've almost found every single Captain Toad locations up to this point. Well, I suppose no matter what though, we should be able to actually get enough flower coins until whenever we decide able to go through the next couple of stages worth noting for. So anyways, let's get to it with Rolling Ball Hole. So I think for this particular stage case is that this stage is going to be filled to the brim with a lot of rolling stones everywhere. So because of that, yeah, I was able to just try to go ahead and avoid those at all times. So just in case we can able to actually guaranteed able to just... well, it might not be so bad, especially considering for the fact that we still playing as one of those Yoshis for the time being, because I almost assumed I was going to able to try to switch back to Mario or anyone else out there, but it's just no matter what though, still we're not able to show any other characters in action, like we've already established that before, ever since in the beginning portion of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, potentially speaking, so... And if you guys are probably wondering about the fact that my voice sounds a little bit off today, well, unfortunately though, similar to how Sonic did somehow suffers the forms of the sore throat, ever since in yesterday for the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze playthrough, sadly, as far as from my perspective anyway, I've managed able to got myself a bit of a cold right now, so because of that though, yes, it's a bit of a nuisance though, especially concerning for the fact that I will admit though, it's incredibly luck-based sometimes, especially concerning for the fact that, on the other hand, unlike in Evolves of on Monday, I was perfectly fine, but for whatever reason, during the Evolves of today, I've just felt a little bit off, and this especially it doesn't help about the fact that there's quite a few controversial news that did somehow pop up from time to time, which I suppose we should probably save that particular topic if we keep on exploring through the rest of the forms of some portions of Sunbaked Desert. So, and there's that Wonder Flower just up here, so hopefully we should be able to actually just to like get up there. And of course the Wonder Flower is also yellow as well, so exponentially speaking I was about the fact that I get the feeling in the forms of World 5 as well as World 6 that we will come across into yet another color scheme for not only for Wonder Seed, but also with the forms of the Royal Seed as well. Well, as well as the forms of the Wonder Flowers as well. So anyways, this Wonder effect on this stage right here is that the stage just keeps on tilting back and forth, while at the same time we still need to able to collect some of these Wonder tokens, so just in case you can able to actually collect all 5 of them, just like before. And exponentially speaking is that, well, obviously you will get yourselves a Wonder Seed if you do manage to accomplish that, so... yeah, it's not too difficult actually, so it's just about the fact that obviously you have to able to just try to avoid, you know what I'm saying, those spike balls and stuff like that, so... and once we're done with that, then we can pretty much guarantee we're able to actually just to finish the level. Indeed. So, oh yeah, something's worth noting for actually is about the fact that there's also, from what I've heard anyway, is that we already know for the fact that the 3rd Sonic movie is going to be on its way. But as it turns out, for what I've noticed on the rumor that it did somehow manage to show up for about a few days ago or something like that, as it turns out, it may look like they're about to be working on a spin-off series which actually focuses on, well, actually, kind of think about it, it was actually more accurately the Sonic movie spin-off, which actually focuses on Shadow, and as a result, it was reportedly have been planned at Paramount. So I guess that might look a bit interesting if it does become true, though. So, but then again, though, I just sometimes don't trust rumors and leaks anymore, just because sometimes that they just bring up some made-up things, as far as I'm aware. Alright, so it looks like we're gonna have to able to try to deal with that particular enemy for able to actually just try to able to make him bash into one of those shiny bits. So hopefully it won't give me that much trouble or anything else like that, but eventually at some point in the later worlds to come, the game will get a little bit more difficult. Well, I would say it's not nearly as hard until towards the end anyway. And as a result, that's the perfect example of why. That, gotta think about it though is about the fact that, I will admit though right away, it's been about, oh jeez, that was close. And in fact, we did somehow succeed now, so that should make things a little bit more cool to manage with. So, anyways though, something's worth noting for also, originally though, I was expecting if I was trying to able to mention something related to the Xbox Development Direct that is about to be up and during at some point until tomorrow, in some cases by the forms of the 18th of January, but I think we should probably wait on that particular topic for not just by the forms of next week, but also if I was going to be a little bit more better. So, well, exponentially speaking, I was just, oh jeez, that was close. I've almost gonna get myself screwed up right there, but luckily I did somehow live, so kudos to my awesome parachute cap skills, at least as far as I'm aware. Oh, and also something's worth noting for the sake of time as well. Also, is that what I've heard, that Capcom 74, he also suffers the forms of some cold flu at the moment. So, and exponentially, he decides able to take a break on playing through Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix for now, until he decides able to get fully recovered for the sake of the forms of, well, it's just the forms of the actual time of the year for this point, especially concerning about the fact that we're still in the beginning portion of 2024 after all. Oh, there's also another thing I want to mention about this as well, that we actually got ourselves some new footage that did somehow showed up for the likes of Mario vs. Donkey Kong Remake for the Nintendo Switch. And the reason being for this is that they did show us the full opening sequence, which I will say, it looks super spectacular, especially no matter what though, that they just somehow managed to do a lot of comparisons between the original Game Boy Advance version compared to the forms of the Switch remake. And some people did manage to point it out that there's quite a lot of changes around here. Like, for instance, no matter what though, sadly though, Mario and Donkey Kong are probably not going to get any unique voice lines. So, because Sonic did somehow tell me something that back in the day that he keeps on playing the original version of the game, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, on the Game Boy Advance, and he remembered back in the day that he loves the actual line of dialogue from Mario, most notably, that Mario did say like, "Hey, come back here, no you don't, no you don't, and here we go, again, all that kind of stuff." So, even though it's kind of unfortunate that we probably not going to hear that particular line of dialogue anymore, just because it makes everything else a little bit more simplified this time around though. So, oh well, not the end of the world personally though, just because I'm still pretty much excited for that particular remake, not just by the forms of that opening cinematic cutscene, but also, no matter what though, we're about able to, well, experience 2 new worlds, so that'll be exciting for the most of it though. So likely also for Merry Miniland, as well as the forms of Slippery Summit, so that'll be cool and interesting at the same time. And I will say is about the fact that I do appreciate about the fact that unlike the original version of that opening cutscene, not only is very well detailed for its visual presentation alike, but also it's fully animated rather than just becoming like a PowerPoint presentation, unlike the forms of how it does on the Game Boy Advance version, just because of the actual handheld's limitations. So, understandably so, whilst the last time we actually got ourselves a fully rendered animated cutscene for the opening cinematic scene for the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series was back on the Nintendo DS, technically speaking, for Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis, just because you see with the forms of the top screen and the bottom screen portion of that particular opening cinematic cutscene, and it's all completely animated, whilst compared to the forms of how it does it for Minis March again on the DSi, where that's all basically done by the forms of a PowerPoint presentation or something. And that could be also applied for Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars, not just by the forms of the Wii U, but also on the 3DS as well, which I found is extremely lazy. And on top of that, it is extremely short, and it's just another rehash plot ever since and during the forms of Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, so yeah, no wonder why that 2015 is often considered as to be the dark age of Nintendo, back in the forms of that particular point's worth noting for, especially around that time when the Wii U was actually still prominent, so at least that's what I was going to be thinking about this anyway. So anyways, as you can tell from that wonder effect on this stage right here, everything else has been speeding up, so yeah, it seems pretty crazy to be able to actually stumble across into, like, you know, speed, fast motion, and stuff like that. Which, kind of think about it, it does kind of reminds me of the forms of one of those items you can able to obtain in Super Paper Mario, where basically if you do come across into Fast Flower, basically though everything else will be entirely speed up, whilst every time whenever you defeat certain enemies while you're in fast motion, basically though is about the fact you're able to actually get a grand rewards for likely also for coins. So yeah, it seems pretty interesting reference there. So, anyways, let's get into Break Time Treasure Vault. Oh, wait a second, I just realized, since that we've somehow accidentally switched over to Light Blue Yoshi, this means is that this particular Break Time stage is inaccessible with the forms of not only for multicolored Yoshis, but also with Nabbit as well. So hopefully we'll be back for that eventually. So, instead, we'll go into the Desert Mystery. So, there's going to be a lot of mystery solving around here, so hopefully we'll try to able to solve this particular mystery up, so at least it won't be that difficult at first glance. So anyways though, there's also another thing I want to mention about this as well. Unfortunately though, for those of you who lived in America and stuff like that, I think so anyway, the Netflix series Pokemon Horizons, the series, sadly that particular series has been delayed until March I would say March the 7th, if I recall correctly. So, no matter what though, you have to wait on that for a little while. So it's kind of like the similar situation as the forms of how it does it for My Little Pony, Pony Life back in during the forms have been in lockdown year. So, no matter what though, it feels a little bit similar in terms of the forms of how certain things have been pushed back at one point, depending on what region you lived in. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange situation as far as I'm aware. Oh, and speaking of which though, is about the fact that, yeah, apparently though, since we're now in 2024 after all, this means that, yes, My Little Pony Tale has recently got the second season, so, or the second series as far as I'm aware. Whilst it still feels a bit of a bummer though about the fact that it looks like that Make Your Mark series has officially gonna be, well, to somehow get cancelled for the rest of the actual plannings. So, well, I'm not exactly sure for this point, just because no matter what though, I just do not really care about the forms of G5 anymore. Although I have seen a brief moment, but it's just that it's not my kind of thing anymore, especially because, you know, they just managed able to ruin G4's lore, and usually, potentially speaking, I'm not a big fan of the forms of certain villains they did somehow introduce. Like, it's all just like simplistic, and on top of that, it's nothing too groundbreaking, unlike the forms of how it does it for the majority of Generation 4, where basically though, it does have some gem-packed for villains in G4. Like, for instance, with Nightmare Moon, Discord, and Queen Chrysalis, as well as Lord T-Rex and King Sabora, and also there was Starlight Glimmer, specifically in the 5th season. Well, eventually that she somehow got reformed in Journey forms of by the end of season 5. Spoiler alert for those who have not seen that particular episode yet. So, in addition to that, there was also the let's just say Cozy Glow, because my goodness, Cozy Glow is just a horrific little pony, which as a result she just did some very, very nasty stuff, which is pretty understandable, because no matter what though, that she does have a actual one of the chest kind of parts on her cutie mark or anything else like that. So but yeah, that's as far as I can usually say about that. Oh, and another thing too, is that I've noticed, for the sake of time, that apparently though, developers want to get rid of physical games, which I have no idea. They've managed able to questioning that, and I mean, let's face it though, I just seriously love collecting physical games after all, just because of not only for its unique box arts, and especially noticeable, I always loved able to keep them rather than just losing them if my save or my game system gets corrupted. And on top of that, with the forms of how the fact that I always love to see well, certain box arts for certain physical stuff, like I mentioned this earlier, but it's just that I just have no idea why they did somehow questioning that. I mean, sure, the future might look a bit bleak at this point, especially concerning for the fact that we've only just got about 3 more months to go until the online services for not only for the Wii U, but also on the 3DS as well, will be closing down services, likely also for Nintendo Network. So, I could possibly understand, just because we're going to be moving along to the future potentials to come, but it's just about the fact that I'm going to miss the old days for the sake of the forms of back in the day, that is. Alright, here we go with the crouching high jump. So, in some cases though, this time around though, we're now going to be selecting Yoshi, specifically light blue Yoshi, and I promise you, once we get to the forms of the later stages for the majority of... Oh jeez, that was close. Because I almost assume I'm almost going to mess this up right here, but regardless of such though, luckily I did somehow manage able to obtain that particular 10 flower coin from the very beginning, before that checkpoint, so... But either way, so far so good. And oh no, I didn't get a chance to able to slide and crouch. Although doing wall jumps might not be possible. So oh well. At least we got a checkpoint anyway. Until later on though, that again we're probably not going to mention about this right now. Just because no matter what though, I'm pretty sure I'm actually onto the halfway point. In terms of the forms of Super Mario Bros. Wonder so far, I mean, so far we're actually doing pretty well so far in regards to the forms of getting those not only 10 flower coins sometimes, but also with the forms of certain Wonder Seeds by finding several of those secret exits and all that stuff. So, and in addition with the forms of, well, if I recall correctly, we somehow did pretty well for the actual golden flag things that we did somehow achieved. It's all thanks to the forms of that particular parachute cap that we keep on using sometimes for some stages. So, and for that path right there, I think that'll be for later. So, either way, let's go and switch over back onto that bit. So, just in case we can able to just, well, look around to see what we're going to be doing next. So, but, again, it's just about the fact that sometimes in the desert section is that you got to able to find certain levels in a mirage. But either way though, let's just go ahead and buy something on here. Like, for instance, timed high jump, where every time whenever you do manage to equip that, you can able to actually perform a well-timed high jumps. So, that'll be recommendable though if you're trying to reach certain places. So, Ninja Jump Party. Okay, that does look a bit interesting. And no matter what though, is that apparently though, the star difficulty on this stage is actually 1 star. I almost assume that's going to be like 2-star difficulty or 3-star difficulty, but either way though, I get the strong feeling for this particular stage that basically we have to do a well-timed jumps to able to get the rhythm going. So just in case we can able to not only try to able to lit up the entire party disco thing, but also this about the fact that several platforms like this, for instance, does need to require a well-timed jump for that particular rhythm. And I think that could be also applied for one of those 10 flower coins that we do need to obtain if we do manage to able to actually come across into it. So, but if you miss that particular timing, if you can tell, obviously no matter what though, it's just about the fact that the actual room decides to get a little bit darker. So, and I think I did somehow see that 10 flower coin familiar, so let me just grab this token first, and we can able to backtrack for a bit, and well, we can able to actually obtain that, no problem. So I think that's the second one so far. I believe the third and final one is going to be nearby, so in some cases though, we're going to be able to just keep moving, and there we go. So at the very least we've got that, and there we go. This stage is pretty simple, especially concerning for the fact that there's no bottomless pits anywhere, and no matter what though, we somehow once again claim the gold flag icon, so too easy, piece of cake. So I think for the most part is that we've almost at the halfway point of completing the majority of World 4, because kind of think about it though is about the fact that much like the forms of World 1 as well as World 2, which is Pipe Rock Plateau as well as Fluff Puff Peaks, basically we actually got ourselves a palace to deal with. So, but then again though, we'll save the palace for later, just because we still need to be able to collect some even more Wonder Seeds until we're able to actually access to it. So, anyway, so let's just go ahead and walk around for a bit. And sometimes, as you can tell, we can't able to actually access the next level, usually on the right over there, because as you can tell, we do need to complete one of the levels first. So, but before we do that, let's go over here to do another break time segment. To be more specifically, break time, raise the stage. So, I wonder what that's gonna be involved around in. Wait a second. That jingle sounds familiar, doesn't it? Oh wow! I did not notice there was actually a Super Mario Sunshine music in the background. You know what the forms of the secret course is? Let's go ahead and have a quick listen to it before we obtain a Wonder Flower. Or the Wonder Seed, rather. Yep, it sounds remarkably similar to Super Mario Sunshine, which is pretty cool actually, because whenever I first encountered that, when I first played this game actually, it honestly caught me off guard to able to actually know there was actually Super Mario Sunshine music in the background. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. But there's also going to be another level that it also features the Super Mario Sunshine musical references from here and there. But we'll save that for later, because for now, let's go back on to Break Time Treasure Vault, because since we've now switched over to Mario now, so this means we can now able to do this stage proper. So in some cases though, again, the drill power-up is required, so just in case we can able to actually proceed to this particular, well, mini-stage as far as I'm aware. But luckily it's not too far from here though, it's just about the fact that you have to able to go through certain sections like this, and there we go. The break time level has already been completed. So yeah, nothing else to say about this I guess. So anyways, there's also another thing I want to talk about this, is that it looks like the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake has recently begun filming just now. Or technically speaking, ever since about a couple of days ago, so I'm a little bit skeptical about it, just because I'm still pretty much used to with the animated version to me, but we shall see how it actually turns out to be until next year. So anyways, let's get on to the next Search Party stage, and this time what appears to be by the forms of Pipe Park. So hopefully we're going to be able to go through a multitude of pipes to once again just trying to able to get, you know, obtain certain Wonder tokens, and as always we're able to get the Wonder Seed in the process. So well, I'm hoping that this particular stage doesn't take nearly as long compared to the Falls of how it does it since in Journey Falls have been Shining Falls, so hopefully it won't give me that much trouble when it comes to navigating for this particular point worth noting for. So although I suppose no matter what though, it looks like we've almost pretty much done for the sake of the forms of every single search parties up to this point, especially concerning the fact that I believe they did have a grand total of like, I don't know, maybe 4 of those search party levels as far as I'm aware. So, but even then, we shall see what happens if we continue proceedings for this for the most part. So oh, and also something's worth noting for as well, that both Sonic and Knuckles are already onto the halfway point in terms of Bright Savannah world already. So no matter what though, it's just about the fact that I'm really hoping that Sonic will able to make himself better until by that time, until likely also for tomorrow, or it really depends on it really, just because no matter what though, unfortunately though, the uploading schedules is once again is going to be a little bit slower, just like the forms of how it does it for last year, but hopefully we'll get back on track if we are feeling extremely better, or perhaps even maybe we're trying to able to catch up on, you know, trying to able to just, you know, do a lot of recording sessions from time to time, so, but sometimes it just takes a bit of time, so anyways, let's go through here and able to actually get into the foreground and grab that yet another token that we did somehow claimed. Let's just say I don't think there's any way we can able to get out that way, but we can able to just go back onto that particular pipe over there. And I get the feeling the last Wonder token is going to be somewhere on the left side as far as I'm aware, so we'll just shove this pipe over here, and we have to make a specific jump, and I think that's where that is. So awesome. So anyways, something's worth noting for as well, somehow I just gone back into Mario Kart Tour again, if only because of one specific thing I want to classify for realize about that thing. Thank God, I finally managed to get myself my pink colored Toad Pit crew now, Especially, it's the cool thing too, is that I somehow managed to claim myself every single color variant for the Toad Pit crew now. So that's actually pretty awesome for me. Although the only unfortunate thing is though, is that I haven't exactly got myself a Toadette astronaut driver alternative costume variant for one of the Toadettes or something like that, which is kind of unfortunate for my recollection. Well, that's just mainly because no matter what though, I still am not a big fan of the forms of that particular the tier system for the likes of the forms of the ranked cups. So yeah, because again, it's entirely luck-based sometimes, and in addition to that, sometimes that the controls really screw me up in Mario Kart Tour, and it's especially noticeable. It's a shame that, you know, there was no controller support. Like, I understand with the forms of the capabilities of mobile phones, it's all touchscreen and everything, but it's just that they overly reliant on that, and on top of that, though, it just ruins my, Mario Kart player skills for able to actually play that particular game for a long period of time, and especially doesn't help about the fact that sometimes that's the reason why I've decided able to not play that game that much anymore, mainly because of no matter what though, I was not able to just try to get such rewards for the sake of the forms of the ranked cups and stuff like that. Even though for the most part, I'm doing quite okay for the most part, although no matter what though, I've actually almost gonna be caught up for able to actually reach up to like 200 drivers up to this point. So sometimes it just takes a bit of time, especially considering about the fact that we still need to grind as many of those rupees until we're able to actually buy not only several drivers, but also with the forms of some Mii racing suits if I ended up missing out on something. So chances are though is about the fact that sometimes it does manage able to require, you know, a lot of missions to complete, which I still haven't exactly got myself every single missions completed for the sake of the forms of the battle mode stuff, mainly just because, you know, I still find the battle mode in Mario Kart Tour to be a very lackluster experience, so that's just me. So anyways, as you can tell, on this wonder effect on this stage right here, everything else is slowing down. So, did we somehow activate the time break or chaos control? Well, I suppose it doesn't matter, just because it's just a wonder flower effect right here. And, oh jeez, I've somehow accidentally lost my elephant transformation, but that's okay, because we somehow once again claimed not only the next wonder seed, but also with the golden flag as well. So, awesome stuff. And, yeah, for the most part, for this point, folks, that's as far as I can try to able to, well, discuss on that front. Well, mainly because no matter what, though, we still have no idea when the first ever Nintendo Direct will be up for the sake of 2024, which we already know from right from the start, though, is that obviously we got ourselves some more information about the forms of Mario vs. Donkey Kong Remake. Oh, until by that time, until tomorrow anyway. Actually, I'll get into more details on that in a moment, because here we have another break time segment with bouncy tunes. And this music is also sounds familiar as well. And yep, conveniently enough, that music is from Super Mario Sunshine in Delfino Plaza. So, pretty cool though. Especially concerning for the fact that it feels remarkably similar to me anyway, as in Super Mario Maker 2, where basically if you try to able to sort out one of those editing skills for one of your level creations, sometimes no matter what though, you're able to get yourselves with those familiar tunes from Mario's past, ranging from Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, as well as Super Mario Galaxy. It's a shame no matter what though, there's just about the fact that it's kind of weird that every now and then we never actually got any other references from the likes of Super Mario Galaxy 2, aside from the forms of likely the one time we do occasionally see some references from Super Mario Galaxy 2, which there are let's just say, in Mario Golf World Tour, along with Mario Sports Superstars for the 3DS, where if you get a birdie, or in some cases eagle or hole-in-one, as Rosalina, you're able to actually see Lubba enjoying the forms of that particular celebration fanfare. And in addition to that, with Starship, Mario did somehow appear, not just by the forms of Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, but also with the forms of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in Mario Galaxy stage. So, that's as far as we can able to actually think about this for the sake of time. Well, generally speaking, as is. So, anyways, let's get into this next level right here, where basically we got able to keep on shoving those specific block objects, just in case not only we can able to actually just to complete certain aspects with this puzzle, but also it's about the fact that we can able to actually just try to deal with those guys ever since in Pipe Rock Plateau. So hopefully we should be able to try to utilize with the elephant transformation, so just in case we can able to actually shove these particular square cube objects, no problem. So, and I believe in here there's another wonder flower in here, so if we activate that, I believe we're gonna have to able to get away from the likes of those specific Shuffer Bros, as far as I'm aware. Although I'm not exactly sure what their names are, just because it's been about 2 days ago since I've last played this. And let's just shove this wall over to the other side. And I don't think it's possible we can able to shove over the Bowser statue or anything. So we're just gonna have to able to just try to make our way to the right. So just in case we don't want to get crushed, or even in some cases die. So, because kind of think about it, whenever I first got there, when I first played this game actually, I have no idea what the heck I was supposed to be doing at first glance, but as it turns out, you need to able to actually push the wall out of the way, so just in case you don't want to get crushed by the forms of that particular Bowser statue. So that's one thing you should probably able to actually just note this right from the start. And then eventually we're able to get, what else? Yet another Wonder Seed. So, and I think that pretty much transport us back into this particular section right here. So, that should be all done for good. And now, in this particular section right here, before we do anything, there's the third and the final 10 flower coin in this stage. So, fundamentally speaking, we need to able to attach one of the doors to the other and try to combine them into a proper door. So, think of like a jigsaw puzzle, except, well, obviously, since no matter what, though, it's gonna have to able to try to shove this particular cube with the half door piece, and hopefully we should able to attach that, and that way we should able to finish off the level with ease. So, although I'm pretty sure no matter what though, this stage does contain not only one exit but 2 exits, at least as far as I can recall that anyway. So we'll just go ahead and find the normal exit, like right here first, and hopefully we should able to find the secret exit at some point eventually, but not now anyway though, because, you know, we've already completed this particular stage as Luigi. So, but yeah, that's as far as I can say about this particular stage, and obviously we will be back for that later, because there's going to be a secret exit on that stage. So, anyways, aside from all that stuff though, by that time until tomorrow anyway, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is going to be releasing until tomorrow, which is roughly around the same day as in Xbox Developer Direct. So I'm still curious to know of what specific announcements they'll bring for the actual Xbox Developer Direct, in some cases anyway. But I was going to able to try to mention about that at some point on Friday, but I'm afraid we'll have to wait until next week, just because no matter what though, this is all depending on the forms of the time zones, depending on what region you lived in. That's the only catch to this. So, and also in addition to that, we've only just got about 2 more days to go until not only The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is going to be coming onto the PlayStation 5, but also with another code Recollection for the Nintendo Switch. So, and also, something's worth noting for as well, we've only just got about, I would say, 9 more days to go until Tekken 8 is going to be releasing until on the PlayStation 5, along with Xbox Series X/S. So, yeah, it might look a bit exciting though, especially concerning for the fact that, well, by that point in time, that the majority of some games for certain franchises is now going to be moving on to the well, the next generation of consoles up to this point, like PlayStation 5, as well as Xbox Series X/S. So, potentially speaking though, I'm not exactly sure what the reviews is going to be like for Tekken 8 until by that time until next week. So hopefully we'll find out some more details onto that particular topic if the actual reviews decide able to show up at one point for certain games in the next couple of days' time. So, and fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact that, oh jeez, I totally forgot about these watermelon spitting seeds for those piranhas right here, or those piranha plants, and I get the feeling I made a mistake right there, so we'll just have to try this again. So, yeah, it's not that great of our performance anyway, so, but hopefully we should able to just, you know, try this again, and, yeah, hopefully it'll make it happen for, you know, successful attempts in mind. So, oh jeez, that particular mummy just somehow moves into a different direction within the quickest amount of time, but I suppose no matter what though, we're just gonna have to able to just, well, try to make it at that point. So, again, there's nothing else I can say about this, honestly guys. It's just about the fact that by that time, that certain gaming releases is almost approaching up to this point, like 2 games for Friday and tomorrow for the likes of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and eventually until next week we're able to get Tekken 8 and all that stuff. So and it does also feature the collector's edition as well, so yeah, you get the idea from this point. So and also as well as from that, we've only just got about exactly one month left until Mario vs. Donkey Kong Remake is going to be releasing on the Nintendo Switch. So, I wonder if it's possible that we can able to see the overview trailer before that particular remake decides to able to release on that front. So, usually for the sake of defaults, the Japanese version first, and then the English version later on, just like defaults of how it does it for most of those interview trailers for several of Nintendo Switch games since probably Super Mario Odyssey or even Super Mario Party. I'm not exactly 100% sure, because I know for a fact that it's kind of hard for me to look back on the films of the past few years in regards to the films of several of those videos I did somehow remembered back in the day, that is. So, but at least thankfully, dealing with those Hammer Bros is actually ridiculously easy thanks to the films of the Elephant transformation, if you couldn't tell. And we somehow succeed, for not just by the forms of getting a Wonder Seed, but also getting not 1 but 3 10 flower coins. So, that was tight. So, anyways though, with that being said, is that we're going to ending off this point right here, I'm afraid guys. So join me next time for more Let's Play of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, is that we'll hopefully try to able to finish off everything for the sake of the forms of Sunbaked Desert. So I'll see you guys until on Friday. Later fellas.